Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, thanks for listening. This is Moments of Clarity. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And I'm excited for my guest today. We go way back. Actually, he was one of my graduate school professors back in the day, and he's done so much since then. And even back then, he was one of my favorite teachers. And he's committed to counselor training, and we're going to be talking about how also, core emotions can be related to addiction, recovery, and relapse. And before we start the show, I want to say hi to Ed behind the glass. I always appreciate him.
Howdy. Can we ask him how little Tiffany was in class?
You can ask him in a minute. Anyway, So anyway, he's a member of the American Counseling Association and the Florida Counseling Association and has presented at the local, state, and national level. And he taught in counseling programs in several schools, including Temple University, Chestnut Hill College, Eastern University, Cairn University, and where I went, Palm Beach Atlantic University. And in addition, he supervises registered interns in mental health counseling to fulfill their hours for certification for their license. And he's an expert experience in the field of counseling in a wide variety of settings, including counseling, research, training, supervision of counselors, and family therapy at Philadelphia Child Guidance Counselor. He's presented a variety of professional organizations and churches on a wide range of topics, including Christian counseling, AEDP, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, addiction and recovery, and motivational interviewing, and neuroscience and neurobiology. Whew. And I just want to welcome to Moments of Clarity, Dr. Philip Henry. Hi, Dr.
Wow.
Henry.
How you doing? Will you do my eulogy? Because that was really good.
That's sad, but like Ed said, we want to see how Tiffany did in class. No, but it's so nice to catch up, and I'm very honored to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And this is the kind of thing I really like, because so many people I talk to every day do not have opportunity to sit down with a counselor. It's actually a luxury for a lot of people to sit down with a counselor. And so a lot of people are, just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? You go through life and you try to figure it out, and you're trying to do the best you can with that. And, there's a lot of people also offering suggestions, you should eat this, don't eat that, do this, don't do that. And it gets confusing. You know what I mean? That's kind of difficult.
And bad advice as well. So
everybody has bad advice.
Everyone has an opinion of some sort.
It's really terrible. I remember I went to a therapist one time, and I think I paid $180 for a session, and it was like the worst advice I ever got. And I felt terrible about that afterwards. I was like, oh my gosh, like that was terrible advice, and I paid so much for that. You know how you feel like you don't get a bargain, you actually got gypped on it a little bit, so you're like really unhappy with it. So I think
that's why counselors charge before the session instead of after.
I know but it's true that a lot of people have gone to therapists sometimes too, and it's also not that good sometimes. You know what I mean? Like
I've had some clients say the therapist fell asleep during the session. What is that?
I have had that, but before, actually, a guy told me one time, well, here's what you say when you fall asleep in a session. I thought, like, oh my gosh, like I'm not getting you to supervise me. He said, you look at them and you say, could you repeat what you just said? I just thought, that's like terrible. I mean, oh my gosh.
That's someone definitely burned out and not really into their patients. And I mean, there are there's some people that are just bad at their jobs. And I mean, it's true for every field and every profession, but it doesn't mean that everyone's like that.
And this is something that's so important to people. And I think that it's come, and this is why I like being on with you, because now mental health stuff with school shootings, with other things,
Right.
It's to the forefront. And I've had two kids that I have done assessments on in the last couple months who, said that they were going to go in and do something at their schools. And, it's, how do we prevent that? How do we take care of ourselves? What do we do to make sure that our own mental health are good? Mm-hmm. I mean, suicide in the United States is one of the leading causes of death within some age groups. And you say, well, that's absolutely crazy, right? I mean, we go in a society where we're not killed by anything else. You know, we shouldn't be worried about alligators or snakes or anything like that, because our biggest danger is ourselves.
Right.
Which is weird, but that's the world we live in. And
other people, too, at times.
Well, and other people, yeah. And but thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm honored, and it's great to be able to catch up like this and on this platform. And so when I ask most of my guests in the beginning is, what got you into this field? What was your moment of clarity that you found in life that maybe got you into wanting to be in the helping profession in the first place?
I think I ran into so many people with problems, and I was actually in another life a pastor in a church, and I was trying to help people, and I was giving them really simple solutions, and they actually were not working. For instance, I had a couple, and they came in to see me. I was just doing marriage counseling with them, and so she made a angel food cake, a confetti angel food cake. And so I had him sit down, and so he came in, and he sat down, and he said, I just came to show you how stupid she is today. And so she slapped him in the face. He tried to hit her. They were trying to hit each other. I managed to press him out into the lobby of the building and lock the door. And that was the end of my first counseling session. So that's how effective I was then. It was really not like the best scene.
Well, it was people that didn't want help, obviously.
Well, maybe
the wife did, but I mean, obviously, I don't know. Somebody's going to come in and say, "I just wanted to show you how stupid she is." She doesn't need to be with him anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
what happened to the cake?
He wasn't the best communicator. I think I actually ate the cake later, so that was a win. I also think, based on the AEDP, there's something called internal family systems, that even in the worst person, there may be a part of them that wants to do the right thing. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a part of them, and part of what I think I try to do in counseling is to let's talk to that part. You know what I mean? Like, if you have somebody who's addicted, the addiction is trying to do something for them, right? It's trying to balance this is the solution that they've come up with to balance their emotional world to make their life seem sane. And Marsha Linehan, who does dialectical behavioral family therapy, one of the things she says is that you do validation and change. You just don't focus on the change, but you validate what the person has tried to do so far. Now, maybe it's misguided, maybe it's wrong, but a lot of addictions, a lot of the things we do are with an aim to help us. And sometimes they do help us for a certain amount of time. So, for instance, a person has a problem with anxiety and their emotions, and they don't know what to do with the sadness in their life, and they start to drink, right? That actually works for a certain amount of time. It actually does. I mean, nobody would do it except that it works. The question is, what happens after a while? In other words, what's the secondary effect of the thing? It starts to work, but then it doesn't. And there might even, as they're drinking, a part of themselves that says, this isn't really a good idea, right? I mean, right? You know what I mean? But the person then takes that part of themselves and just pours alcohol in it and gets it drunk.
Right.
And then they don't have to listen to that part. Shut that part off, because that nagging part, the obsessing part, you're doing it wrong, that you're bad part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shut that part out. So I guess I'm saying there's reasons why people do things, and to sit with them sometimes and say, all right, you've done the best you can up to this point. What do you want to do differently, right?
Because self-destruction doesn't really help people in the long run without the coping skills, because you can't just drink every day that you're having a bad time. But
people do. I mean, I get a call every day from somebody who probably has reached the end of that, where they've like, yeah, this isn't working for me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Like, sure, I've drank for 20 years, but I just don't see this continue. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see this continuing. This is not working. And part of the other reason I said I got involved originally in it, because of helping people, and I didn't know what to do with it. But secondarily, I then had some people who relapsed and went to jail, and just ended up with stuff as a mess. And I started saying, well, I got to do this addiction treatment better. I got to figure this out a little bit better, because I care about the people I'm working with. And like one of the guys who couldn't handle his emotions, he's going to get out of jail, I think, in April. But he's been in for 5 years now for something he did one night. He did something one night. He was at a sober house. He relapsed. He went out and did something. It wasn't violent towards anybody. It was just something that he did, and he's ended up 5 years. But I had been mentoring him, coaching him, counseling with him, doing all kinds of stuff with him. And so you know how you take the losses pretty bad. I took that pretty bad. Like what's going on with that? And I started paying attention to the emotional world of people and saying, boy, we have to look at how we handle our emotions and what we're doing with those, and how we're processing and accepting them, and how can we do that better so that when we come off drugs or alcohol, or we're getting rid of an eating disorder, or we're dealing with anxiety, that we do that better.
Right. Because a lot of times it's avoidance, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to feel this feeling that I'm having. This feeling is unacceptable. And I think we even learn this from when we're little, like riding a bicycle. Like, whenever I'm sad, I avoid it, right? Or whenever I'm fearful, I avoid it. Or let's say that you're angry and you're told, well, you can't be angry, so I suppress that. The problem is it doesn't go away. It sort of stays there. We just haven't learned how to manage it, right? We haven't learned what to do with it. So when I stop drinking, when I stop my eating disorder, when I stop being so anxious, I'm left with this sadness or anger or fear, or even something as basic as a sexual feeling. These things are core emotions, and core emotions are built into your brain and they're built into your body, and you don't ask to have them, you just have them. And so when I don't drink, I kind of go back to what I'm naturally feeling, and for some people that is, I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to sit with that.
And sometimes sobriety makes people have to think and handle their core emotions. I want to take a second really quick to welcome callers to call in, 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. And we are live on air and accepting callers if you have any questions or feedback or stories you want to share. Dr. Henry is amazing, and I'm sure you've already seen that. Hold on one second, Dr. Henry. It's time for our first break, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340.